What's up, investors? It's Mike from MJF Invest. Today's video is going to be about AppHarvest. AppHarvest is a SPAC play. They're merging with Novus Capital before the end of the year, sometime in Q4. The deal is expected to close. But before I go any further, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel for future content. And let's talk stocks in the comment section. Also, I'm not a financial advisor. Doing all your own research. With any YouTubers that you watch, my videos or anybody's videos, you should be fact checking, and it's just my opinions and cliff notes. Basically, I'm giving you cliff notes of what I found during my research. AppHarvest has entered into a definitive business combination agreement with Novus Capital. The transaction is expected to provide $475 million of gross proceeds to the company, including $375 million stock PIPE invested at $10 per share, anchored by Fidelity, Inclusive Capital, and Novus Capital. Pro forma equity value of the merger is approximately $1 billion. There are a couple of focal points that really made me think that this stock is going to do pretty well, at least in the short term. But I will also present to you some of the risks associated with an investment like this. It is pre-revenue, so you're investing in a company that has no sales. It is also a SPAC. Some people view that as the SPAC market's taken a pretty bad hit, and some people don't even like to invest in SPACs regardless. When I heard Jonathan Webb talk about why he chose to take this company public via SPAC, I liked his answer. I asked why he decided to take his company public via SPAC opposed to a traditional IPO or a direct listing. He had answered he took the company on a traditional roadshow. He raised $375 million, a lot of which came from Fidelity. Taking the company public through a SPAC, he said, just sped the process up and cut some of that red tape. The financial end of the SPAC, it was only $100 million. This is a little different than some of the other SPACs. There's quite a few things, though, that really drew me. The first was a report from the UN Securities. The UN has found the world will need at least 50% more food by 2050, yet 70% of all fresh water is already dedicated to agriculture. Unless we change that, we would need 2 planet Earths. This climate crisis is really taking a toll on agriculture. The traditional open field way that we grow food, particularly in the southwest region of the United States and Mexico, climate disruption will continue to drive the cost of traditional agriculture up. The national grocery chains desperately need large-scale supplies of domestically grown produce as an alternative to imports. The U.S. needs 20,000 acres of controlled environment facilities to reduce imports of tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. 70% of our tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce, and peppers come from Mexico. And national grocers are seeking alternative supplies as a result of heavier usage of harmful pesticides, shipping costs, travel times, and the carbon footprint, which it's a domestic company, so that drives down the shipping costs and the travel time, and also reduces the carbon footprint. The GMOs, there's no GMOs, and there's no pesticides or chemicals in the AppHarvest product. So that addresses some of the things that these national grocers are looking for. AppHarvest also sees an opportunity to replace some of the southwestern United States production, which currently grows 90% of leafy greens from November to March. When Jonathan Webb was asked if he could replace California as the source of produce,
Well, it's a great question. I don't think there's a choice of do we replace California. It's on fire. They're running out of water, and that's where we grow our food. It's not going to last. It's a house of cards.
I mean, that's a very powerful quote. When you take that in context, that could be pretty scary. I think their geographic location is awesome. I mean, it's such a brilliant move. They picked Kentucky. When I was researching why AquaBounty chose Kentucky, I found some really cool things, like cost of electricity is low, water is readily available. It's just a good place to be, especially in this industry or this sector. Also, too, what's really cool is Kentucky is within a 1 day's drive of 70% of the United States population. Right now, I'm looking at a chart of how AppHarvest would be eliminating lengthy supply chains, and you see some of the driving hours to the way the current food system is. You see from California to New York is 44 hours driving. From Kentucky, it's only 10 hours. Mexico is 2,000 miles away from some major markets. Initially, it brings fresher food, which is healthier. And again, you know, the no pesticides, no GMOs also makes it healthier. But it's really reducing the cost of transportation. So it's reducing the carbon footprint as well. So it's environmentally friendly. They're connected very well with the governor of the state, and the governor of the state wants to bring legislation as well to domestic food sources and domestic agricultural, you know, supply chains. So this pandemic, COVID-19 has really shown us that bringing, you know, being self-reliant, being independent, imports may not always be there. So being able to produce your own stuff, you know, in manufacturing, but is one thing, but food is a completely different thing. I mean, we need food. We need to be growing our own food. AppHarvest also has partnerships with leading distributors. Distributors will sell all vegetables produced by AppHarvest in Kentucky and West Virginia, enabling national distribution to grocers who seek to increase domestically sourced tomatoes. They also just announced that they're getting into leafy greens and vines products, which is great. But as of right now, they already have partnerships with Publix, Costco, Kroger, Wegmans, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Walmart, Aldi's, Winn-Dixie, and Safeway. This is a great, I mean, this is great to me. I mean, you can't get better partners in this industry. And as of right now, it's only in Kentucky and West Virginia. But as AppHarvest expands, I would expect some of these partnerships to also expand. So that's very exciting. Their beefsteak tomatoes, the first harvest will be planted in October of 2020, with the initial harvest and revenue commencing in January 2021. But well, we already said that they've announced that a third, you know, super greenhouse, or if you will, or whatever you want to call these things. I mean, they're massive. The first facility is 2.8 million square feet. To put that into perspective, that's 2 times larger than Amazon's biggest facility. Produce back in a domestic way to the United States. We talked about their advantage being in Kentucky, some of the issues with the current system. We also talked about some of the risk involved with it being a pre-revenue. But this is something that really, their board and front office is really what drew me to them. Before I even researched this company, Jonathan Webb, I watched several interviews with him. I really like this guy. He's intense, you know, he believes in this company. That comes through. He's very genuine and just an intense guy. He's cool, sharp. He has a lot of experience in the energy sector, or he was involved in some of the biggest solar energy projects in the United States. So Jeff Ubben is a very well-respected activist, investor. I love that he's here. David Chen from Equilibrium Capital. David Lee from Impossible Foods. I love to see that. But Martha Stewart, her recognition, I think, can really bring some attention and eyes to this. Be transparent, I own 50 shares. I was looking to maybe possibly buy some call options. I could see 2-3x potential in the short term. Specifically post-election. So I'm using this as a swing trade. There's catalysts here, though, that make me think this could potentially be a good long-term investment. I'm going to look to sell on a first run-up. Now, you know, again, I can't really gauge what's, you know, greedy, what's appropriate. But, you know, as of right now, the stock is trading around $11.15. Harvest is 70% of the population is within a 1-day drive. 80% less diesel is expected to be used in transportation. 90% less water usage, only recycled. And again, so those are just some of the focal points. Again, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Let's talk stocks in the comment section.